Alright guys, hey, welcome to another tutorial by Louis Lozano, E&C Division Manager 400G 2017. Today we're going to be going over Eagle Schematic. We're going to be talking about just a quick tutorial of it. So where I got my information this time, there's a YouTube video. It's about a 40-minute tutorial. I thought that was a little bit too long, so I'm going to try to do it a lot quicker. So hopefully we'll be able to get it done in 15 minutes. Really quickly, I'm just going to go over the some of the important things we have here. So on the control panel of Eagle, we have this folder of libraries, which is all of the libraries that we can use. This is all the parts that we can use in our schematic. And I'll be showing you how to add a library today, just in case you have to download a library from a specific company. Design rules are the rules that you have to follow in order to have a PCB printed, what your design has to look like before it gets printed. Scripts allows you to customize or automate things. The user program language also same thing. The cam jobs describe how you're going to export your files, and projects are what we'll be working in our projects. So you can see here, this is my attempt at the homework. I was actually it was fun. But so to start off with, we're gonna right click here and we're gonna go to new project. So for this, we're just gonna label this tutorial 1, and for today, dang it, today we are going to I lost my train of thought. Today we're gonna be making something called a blinky board. A real simple schematic design, but it'll help you get into the feel of it. It's basically just a board that blinks 2 LEDs back and forth, back and forth. So the first thing we're going to want to do is add a description to it. It's always good practice to put descriptions. So you can use HTML to write your descriptions. So here we got bold for, let me see, blinky board for Eagle tutorial, and then I'm gonna put VR by Louis Lozano. There. So we've got a good description now. It's always good practice to do that. So first we're gonna go to new schematic. So that's gonna open up our schematic view. Now before we start with our schematic, we're gonna download our library. So I'll link to it in the description where you can go to get this library, but it's called the Adafruit library. And so here's the website for it. We're just gonna click right here, download as a zip file. So you're gonna download as a zip file. You're gonna save it to your Eagle folder. So I'll show you where mine is. So we're gonna go to C. Here's my Eagle folder. This is the library, the LBR. That's where you want to store your libraries. So you're going to save it when you do download it in here. So I already downloaded it, and I have it saved here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go into the folder, find the LBR file, and drag it out here. So mine is right here. I've dragged it out, and it's right there. So in order to use it in your schematic, you're going to want to open back up to your schematic. Let's go full screen. You're going to want to go to Library, Use, and then you can just Control All, Open, and now you're using all of the components in your library. Sweet. So what we want to start is well, first I guess we want to see what we're building, right? So this is what we're building. I don't know if I showed it already, but this is it right here. We're going to be using 4 LEDs. Oh, there they are. 4 resistors, sorry. 4 resistors, 2 LEDs. This is a battery, where's the thing? This is a battery holder. The 555 timer we all learned about in 201, and some capacitors. Okay, so just good practice, I guess, would be just to load all of the components you're going to be using to start off with. So because we downloaded the Adafruit library, we're going to be using components out of it, although you don't particularly have to. So here in the search, this is a pretty fun tool. You've got a search bar, so you can just search for whatever you want. If you want an op amp, you just search for it, and it comes up with all these op amps. We're not going to be using op amps today, so we're just going to go back out here. Oops. So all right. So here's the Adafruit library, and the first thing we're going to be looking for is a so the first thing we're going to be looking for is the battery holder, or I guess we'll start with this. We'll start with the capacitors. So we're going to be using, so there's one component. These are all capacitors, just different kinds, different styles, different sizes. So we're going to be looking for the 0805 capacitor. Let's see if we can find it here. 0805, there it is. And yeah, so here we go. We're going to be needing 2 of those. So the cool thing is that it lets you place them as long as you keep clicking. As soon as you're done placing on your schematic, you just hit escape, and it brings you back to the search bar. So we need 4 resistors. So let's go find the resistors now. We're going to close the CUS. I'm going to go down to RUS where the resistors are. And then same thing, we're just going to find the 0805 resistor, which is going to be R0805. There it is. You know, different kinds. I'm just going to go with the normal resistor. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back out here. We're going to need the 555 timer from Adafruit. So that is, where are we? Adafruit 555 timer. There it is. We're going to open it up. You know, just different styles of 555 timers. So we're just gonna grab. Yeah, I think we're gonna grab this one. Put it there. All right. So I think all we're missing now. Oh, right, the LEDs. So let's go find the LEDs. There's an LED. And we can go with the 0805. And here we go. Click, click. There are 2 LEDs. All right. Sweet. So, yeah. Okay, guys. So now that we've got all of our parts on our schematic view, we're ready to start connecting things, or we're ready to start working with it. All right. Now that we've got all of our parts there and ready to go, sorry if it's a little choppy, the video, but so here we go. We're just gonna move some things into place. So first we're gonna select the move function here, so we can move our parts. So we are gonna want to move some of the parts around. We're gonna want the 555 in the middle. Remember to click towards the middle of the component. If you click towards the top, it won't move it. Okay. So we're gonna move some of these things over here. Just in accordance to the schematic that I showed you all earlier, we're just gonna try to make this as simple as possible. Now, one of the things to remember with the schematic is that it's supposed to be a pretty simple layout of what electrically is going on. So, so even if you don't have to make even if things are electrically connected on your board, or you want them to be, they don't have to be here, or they don't have to be visually connected here in order for them to be electrically connected on your board. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. So what we're gonna have to do next is rotate some of these pieces. So we're gonna click on the rotate button, and you're just gonna click on the middle of whatever component that you want in order to rotate it. So we're going to rotate these 2 and the other 2 resistors as well, just to match our schematic, the picture that I showed you at the beginning, or the schematic that I showed you at the beginning. So now I guess we still need to place some of these a little bit better. There. There. We're going to select a group. We're going to want to move all of these. Move. So in order to move a group like this, what you're going to do is you're going to do what I did. You're going to select, select all, or you're going to use the select function to select your entire group. You're going to then click the move button, but then you're going to hold control and right click on the group to move the entire group. And so that's how that one works. So we're going to put this here. The 555 goes there. Actually, we're going to move this over a little bit. Move this. Oh, we electrically connected those already. Whoops. So we're going to have to delete this. Let's see here. Let's get on it. Delete. All right, there we go. Although it looks like, although we'll end up connecting it in a bit, I want to show you how to do it. Okay, so we've got our capacitors ready to go, and yeah. So in order to electrically connect something, you're gonna want to click on this button over here. There's a line, and then there's a net. And you use net to electrically connect things. So what you're going to do is click out the end of one component and the end of the other. And then same thing. So this is, just like any SPICE software. You just go from one to another and then from one to another. Beautiful. Now what we're going to need also is the ground. We're going to have to ground things. And so one way you can do it is just to draw you have one ground and ground everything that is supposed to be grounded to it. But for sake of simplicity, schematic is supposed to be really easy to see what's going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a part, and we're going to search this time for a part called G and D, or ground. So for ground, we're just going to go search G and D, and it's going to be under supply 1, so we're just going to use this. And we're going to put a ground here, and we're going to ground the battery that we're going to be using. This is a battery, by the way. I don't know if I showed you all that. So we're done with that. So next is really just electrically connecting things like our circuit is meant to be connected. So let's and here's another thing. So we're going to need a ground for this capacitor as well. And so a way to do that is just to copy and then click it. When you click copy, it automatically puts another component on your cursor. So I'm going to electrically connect it all, and I'll be back in like 10 seconds. Okay guys, so I finished the schematic, so here it is. So for all intents and purposes, this will work for what we want to do. However, the purpose of a schematic is to be really plain and really simple and really easy to work with. So there's still a lot of wires here, and what we see here is that on this bus, although we've connected all these to ground pretty okay, these are all connected to the positive. But what we can do instead is add a component that will help reduce some of the wiring. So we're going to go back to add. We're going to go to S for supply. Oops, why did that not work? Okay. VCC. Alright, so let's use the VCC. Put one there, put one there, put one there, put one here, maybe put one here. And now I'm going to rewire it and show you guys what that looks like. Okay, so here's my clean schematic. I've got VCC connected to each one of these. We have less wires. It's a little bit easier to look at. Now the last thing I want to show you, and I have to talk fast because I'm running out of time, is that if you click here the value, you can give anything a new value. So or give it a value. So these resistors, you can make them 100 ohms, 100 k ohms. For the LEDs, you click it and you can write blue. And this way you can get the accurate stuff that you want out of your PCB. Now the cool thing is if you click this design link button, it actually goes out to the market and gives you options of actual components and companies that sell these components that you can use on your board. And I'm just about out of time, but guys, that is my tutorial on this. I hope you were able to learn something, and then all you have to do now is save it. Oh, last thing, quickly. This ERC button is your electrical rules checker. Click it before you save it, and it tells you everything that might potentially be wrong with your circuit or that is wrong with your circuit. The warnings can be worded, but that's it.